So in this session, we're going to look at 3 specific stages of leadership development, 3 fairly advanced stages. It's based on work that was done by a man called Barrett Brown, looking in particular at stages of development for leaders working on sustainability issues. Now, sustainability issues by their nature are complex, so it was requiring a certain level of development to enable the leaders to be able to see the bigger picture around these sustainability issues and to be able to come up with appropriate interventions. And the 3 names that are given for these stages, he was working with Susan Cook-Greuter's model, were the strategists, alchemists, and ironists. And so we're going to spend some time just looking at those 3, what they mean, and then across that range, what some of the kind of core qualities were that he discovered in those leaders. So if we focus on the strategists first, the qualities that he saw there is that they really have a catalytic function. They point towards a greater vision, open people up to new perspectives, encourage them to grow into potential. As an individual, they see themselves as being of service, and they really operate on organizations and systems by influencing people to kind of trigger the change, so that strategist function of seeing the bigger picture, sharing that with people, trying to influence people through that picture which they lay out for them. The alchemists are more proactive than the strategists, you could say, because their crew really work on creating the supportive conditions for the people who they are leading to take the steps which they want to take. So how to ensure deep dialogue happens, that people can come to their own insights about what's going on, to bring out new ideas, to really enable combinations to happen between different people and disciplines that enable new solutions to emerge. A very deep commitment to being of service to others in the world, and to serve on behalf of some greater, higher goal. Could be seen as a life, or some people would use a language of spirit, or something bigger than humanity on its own. So the sense of being in service to some bigger whole. And they would generally approach things in a sense of dialogue. As we were just describing with the learning organization and the Bohemian dialogue, that deep inquiry into what's going on, enabling the different perspectives to come in and see what it is that wants to emerge through that interaction. And then the ironists, which was the level that held the most complexity, was a sense of wonder, was one of the things that really typified them. So a perspective on the whole that was less hands-on in a way and was more holding of the situation that they found, noticing how things were moving and encouraging the different elements to emerge, but really with very little intervention. It was the kind of quality of showing up and paying attention to what's there and noticing where the system wants to go and beginning to give it nudges here and there that helps it to move in the pathway that it would naturally go. Really a sense of serving life itself, a deep sense of connectedness to the natural order of things, to how life would want to flow through and find its way to the next stage. Really grounding itself in a sense of oneness. Wonder, again, is a big term for the ironist, a kind of openness and almost childlike curiosity at what's going on and where things want to go. So those are the 3 stages which Barrett Brown identified around leaders working with sustainability. And then within those 3 stages, he saw a number of key competencies that they shared. And here are some categories of those competencies. So there's 15 competencies separated into a number of categories. The first category is deep connection. So something they all shared was really connecting their work to a deep sense of meaning and purpose. So why are they doing what they're doing? There was a clear inner motivation to the work. Decision making that was also intuitive, so not so much logical, but really connected to what was going on and getting a feel or a sense for what was needed next. And an ability to embrace and almost revel in uncertainty. So not knowing what was going to happen, being present with things, being open to things, with a deep trust that life was going to find a way forward here, and what we really needed to do was pay attention and see how we could best support that. So that was that kind of deeply connect category. The next category was really about knowing oneself. So all of these leaders had a deep sense of self-reflection, self-awareness, were able to keep scanning their own internal environment, know that if they were responding emotionally or physically in a way to certain things, that was a source of information. So their own inner experience they see as a great resource in any context, that it's giving them indicators as to what's going on and what they should do next. And that they were able to, by being able to hold many different perspectives in themselves, they're able to step into many different people's shoes, be able to share perspectives, respect different perspectives, and see how they might be able to contribute to the whole. So the next category here is to be able to adaptively manage the situation, to be in dialogue with the system the whole time, see where it's at, where it's wanting to go, what the next natural step must be, and go with the energy or go with the flow, one might say. So really be able to, almost like riding a bike, where you know the final destination, but you're continually steering your way around obstacles, taking the next turning, seeing what's coming at you, moving around, still with your goal in mind, but not rigidly stuck to a particular route or path. The next category is that of cultivating transformation. So all of these leaders were very good at enabling change to happen in contexts. The first was a commitment to self-transformation. So really engaged in their own process of change and in a knowledge that the situation that they were in and leading in would be reflected in their own inner change process. So a sense of the boundaries falling away between yourself as a leader and the context that you're leading in, and seeing how those two realities mirror each other. They were able to create developmental conditions, so create the conditions within an organization that would enable people to take a next natural step, to lift them up to their highest potential and deliver the performance that was needed for the challenge that was at hand. They were very good at what they would call holding space. So not necessarily coming to answers too quickly, but holding the space open for new solutions to really come in. You know, if you think of the S-curves, it's not jumping too quickly to the answers because that might draw from the old S-curve. But if we can hold open that space of chaos, of not knowing, then it enables the new solutions to come in that are really coming from the future and are not just being dreamt up from the past. And then the final one here, which he called shadow mentoring. The ability to see some of the issues that we have in ourselves, things that need healing, the kind of things that might be present from past pain, where we've had a trauma that's developed a pattern in ourselves that's influencing and getting in the way of us being effective. So they were very good at helping other people see the shadow side of themselves, see the blockages in themselves, and transform those to release energy so that they could contribute to the project as a whole. And this category was about navigating with various theories and frameworks. So as well as this deep human ability to support and motivate people, they have a great cognitive awareness to be able to hold different models and maps, so that as they're experiencing a reality around them, they're able to track it in terms of these theories and models that they're holding. So systems theory and systems thinking, as we talked about in the learning organization, was one of the abilities they had to see all the parts and the whole, the interrelationships and the dynamics between them. understand complexity theory, how when you've got a complex situation, how the different parts interact, the dynamics of change that go on. Integral theory, which you're now very familiar with, these different perspectives through the quadrants and the stages of dynamic. And polarity management, learning what it means when you've got things which seem to be polar opposites, how you can hold both of them in a creative tension so that something can really emerge from that space in between, which transcends and yet includes what were seemingly polar positions. So those are some of the stages that Barrett Brown discovered in his research, and some of the qualities that he discovered that they were holding as leaders when they were trying to deal with complex issues related to sustainability. So now as you go into the integration task, it'll be a chance to make sure you've really understood some of these core concepts, what some of these qualities were, because these are really the qualities that we're looking to develop in ourselves to be able to deal with the complexity in the world. After the integration tasks, we'll come back for session 3 and 4, and in those sessions we'll be going a bit deeper into some other core qualities that I've discovered in my work that are necessary for leaders at this time.